It was a beautiful day. It was pretty much a cloudless day. The sky was blue. You could see all the way to shore with the naked eye.
Early that morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, we had heard through the ship's loudspeaker that we were being overflown by Israeli aircraft. I observed 2 of those flights. They were marked with the Star of David, and they were lumbering, very slow moving, very low, and they were watching us.
We were circled literally 13 times in daylight that morning by pilots that came so close that we could literally see the pilots. They came close enough that they waved and we waved back.
As the USS Liberty drifts at about 5 knots an hour off the shores of El Arish, 3 torpedo boats are picked up on her radar.
I noticed immediately 3 surface contacts, steady bearing, decreasing range, very rapid speed coming directly to our ship. And about that time, we heard the jets overflying our ship. They were unmarked jets, no markings whatsoever.
It passed down the starboard side, turned left, and then made a sweeping left turn and was headed straight down the center line when suddenly we had orange flashes under the wings.
We were hit with bombs, rockets, and napalm. Our whole top side of our ship was on fire, and people were dying, and body parts were flying, metal fragments were flying.
And everybody panicked, I think, except the captain. The captain was as cool as he could be.
Now the jets try to knock out the ship's antennas. As below deck, men desperately try to signal for help.
We did not know who was attacking us. We were trying to get communications with any shore station through our teletypewriter communications. At the same time, above decks, the radiomen were trying to get voice communication with anybody they could raise.
We flew a flag. The flag was shot down very early in the attack. We immediately hauled up an oversized holiday flag, which is about 4 times the official flag.
I ran up to the signal bridge and found a halyard that was still serviceable. So we took that halyard and hauled the holiday colors up.
But flying an American flag does nothing to deter the attack. On their next runs, the jets strafe the bridge and decks.
What we heard was cannon fire bullets coming off those jets, going across the deck, chasing our guys down the deck, killing our guys.
To the men below decks, the carnage above is evident.
You have 50 caliber armor-piercing rounds going completely through the ship. Rockets putting 8-inch holes in quarter-inch steel. There's no place to hide.
We didn't know who was attacking us. Some people assumed that the Russians are attacking us.
Fearing they might be the first American casualties in an all-out war between America and Russia, the Liberty desperately tries to get a message out.
And these young kids, 18, 19, 20 years old, were doing what the Navy trained them to do. They were trying to get communications, but they couldn't make contact.
While we were trying to send our messages for help, there was some sort of obvious jamming. There was a buzzsaw sound that blocked all the frequencies. The jamming seemed to cover everything at all times unless there's the very few seconds that missiles were in the air, and then it stopped. And during those times, they got out our message.
The Liberty is able to get one message out to the 6th Fleet during the early minutes of the attack. It states that they're under fire by unidentified aircraft and need immediate assistance.
Joe Tully was the commanding officer of the USS Saratoga, steaming some 450 miles away.
And he launched aircraft. He saw the aircraft disappear in the distance.
The Liberty's call for help has gone all the way up the chain of command to President Johnson.
We know that President Johnson called a crisis meeting at the White House, which had Dean Rusk and Secretary McNamara dealing with this crisis. At this point, they didn't know who was attacking or what was going on. They did know that aircraft supposedly were on the way. So we're thinking, all right, any minute now, the 6th Fleet jets are going to come to our aid and drive these people, whoever they are, away. And so we're expecting, salvation at any moment. And it just didn't happen. Finally, after what turned out to be about 25 minutes of air attack, things went silent. We're tending to our wounded.
The surprise attack ends. It has left 9 men dead on deck and scores wounded above and below.
We probably had at that point 30 to 40 tables full of wounded officers and enlisted people.
But there was more carnage to come.
Then the announcement was passed, stand by for torpedo attack, starboard side. Here were these 3 torpedo boats that we had seen earlier at 16 miles, and now they're a couple thousand yards away and getting ready to launch torpedoes.